Tom Lee made some very bold claims about the broad market today, the equity market and the crypto market, and where he sees things going over the next month here and the beginning of 2026. These are claims, guys, that, again, might seem a little bit ridiculous, but with Tom Lee's track record, again, we do have to take some of these pretty seriously here. So we're going to be breaking down these comments and providing a little bit more context to the market here because, again, there was a lot of confusion surrounding what is going on, especially over this last month here. And as always, we're going to break down some of your guys' favorite names in this video here, Bmnr, Nio, Webull, and a couple of others as well. So before we get into all of that information, guys, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. And as always, massive shout out to all of the members of my private trading and investing community. Less trades, more profits. I'm going to throw some of the gain screenshots up on the screen here, guys. Again, over 35 10x plus trades that have been called out over the last couple of months here. If you are an individual that wants to learn how to take advantage of all of the best moves happening in the market on a consistent basis, make sure you check out that link down below. Use code Black Friday, get 75% off your first month. It's literally less than $1 a day for you guys to hop in. But without further ado, let's roll this Tom Lee clip and get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, 7,000 is only 2% for S&P. From here, I think 5% or maybe even 10% is possible in December. So I think a 7,200, 7,300 is likely for S&P.
Ask you not to do that. You're giving me a target and a time. Don't. It's not good for your career. Don't do that. You're going to be wrong one of these times. But you don't care, do you? You've been right enough.
Well, I'm just looking at probabilities, but you're right. We've been wrong plenty of times, Joe, so I'm okay being wrong too. Yeah, in fact, you know, I think it was looking good, like you said, over the weekend, and then we got a decline, sorry, maybe because the Bank of Japan looks hawkish. But I don't think the 4-year cycle, I don't think the Bitcoin high is in place. But you're right. You know, we were too optimistic about this happening by December. But I do think Bitcoin can make an all-time high by the end of January. So I don't think we should think the highs are in place for Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto. So a lot of it's going to depend on equities recovering, which we expect it to. And that helps the animal spirits. And I think a new Fed chair will help. And we have, as Becky said, when people got worried about a hawkish Fed, that kind of hurts the discount models, the discounted cash flow models like AI models, but it hurts crypto models too. So if we have a dovish Fed, that's really a tailwind.
So one of the main drivers, as Tom Lee briefly mentions here, of what we are seeing in terms of the volatility over this weekend and today in the market is as follows here. Again, 2-year Japan government bond yields rise above 1% on Bank of Japan hike speculation. Remember the yen carry trade situation from last year. Again, as Japanese bond yields start to move higher, again, there is that potential for the unwind of this carry trade. So all of those loans that were taken out in Japanese yen converted into dollars and then used to purchase U.S. equities here, and could be forced to be sold and return that money back to those lending institutions in Japan. So this is a worry that the market is facing right now here, and we are seeing the yen starting to appreciate a little bit with some of this news here. Now, we're not seeing anything significant yet, but this is definitely going to be something that we need to look at moving forward. But overall, Tom Lee is incredibly bullish here going into the next 2 months. Now, the one thing that I really want to start breaking down to everybody is something else that we started to see over this weekend after we saw the November monthly candle on the S&P 500. So on X, we were seeing a lot of debate on what this candle actually means for the market moving forward. Some people were saying that this was a hammer candle, suggesting that the market could trade higher. Some people, again, more accurately, were viewing this as a hanging man candle, which can be viewed as a bearish indicator moving forward. Now, in reality, this candle by itself is neither. It's not bullish or bearish here. And again, when we think about what these candles actually mean in the context, chart patterns and these candle formations are going to tell you what the buyers and sellers did, but never why they did it. And I want you guys to think about everything that we saw over the last kind of month and a half here as it relates to why the market was as volatile as it was. And everything had to do with the government shutdown, the data blackout, and the Federal Reserve coming out and saying that the December rate cut was not a foregone conclusion. And once we start to take a look at what those rate cut expectations are now, well, obviously they're back up to about 87% here for a December rate cut. So we saw selling based on rate cut expectations going down and buying when rate cut expectations started to move back to the upside. But when we think about what just happened, well, a lot of this fear and uncertainty can easily be resolved in the short term once we get through this next FOMC meeting. So we need to think out a little bit further here. And this is what Tom Lee was starting to reference a little bit with his very dovish Fed comments here. Now, when we take a look at, again, this article right here, Trump says he's picked who he wants to lead the Fed. There have been a lot of kind of rumors of the strategy that the Trump administration wants to take when they're approaching who they want to be as the next Fed chair. There's been this kind of phrase, the shadow Fed chair, being floated around. And effectively what that means is that when the Trump administration does announce who they want as the next Fed chair, the market is going to listen more to what the comments of that individual are and less on what Jerome Powell is saying in the present. And obviously, the Trump administration does want to have a very, very dovish Fed chair coming in to lower interest rates and help stimulate the system. And as of right now, we are seeing, according to Polymarket, Kevin Hassett being the favorite as showcased here by these prediction markets. So when we think about this landscape that we are in right now with an administration that definitely wants to stimulate the overall system here, we have a Federal Reserve that's ending quantitative tightening today, going into a period of kind of neutrality as it relates to what they want to do with their balance sheet, with the expectation that it is very possible that they start up quantitative easing again in 2026. That is where we start to get into some of Tom Lee's very, very aggressive predictions here. So one of them is, again, Bitcoin getting back up to all-time highs here, even though at this current time we are not seeing a very strong chart on Bitcoin at all here. We are seeing, again, this break of this prior all-time high zone that I've talked about so many times on this channel, a retest of this zone that was setting up, again, a potentially bullish setup here. We ended up rejecting to the downside, and I would say, depending on how the market fares going into the rest of the month here, it is possible that we do end up seeing Bitcoin down in that mid 70,000 area here. And again, when we take a look at that area, well, it is going to line up perfectly with the top side of the big monthly consolidation period that we witnessed in 2024. Then taking a look at Ethereum over here, again, Ethereum not looking great, obviously, over the last few months here, we do see 3 or 4 declining months on Ethereum. Again, this is December, so we are starting off the month in the red. We take a look at this on the weekly time frame here. The one thing that is saving Ethereum right now is this big weekly 200 exponential moving average here. So we'll see if this can hold, but that kind of leads us into, again, one of Tom Lee's kind of new products here for retail investors, and that is Bmnr. Now, those of you guys that have listened to me talk about these names here, SBET, Bmnr on stream, these are personally for me not something that I necessarily want to hold for the long term here, but that does not mean that there are not going to be absolutely awesome short-term trading opportunities on things like Bmnr or SBET, so they are definitely things to pay attention to. So in the short term here, on something like Bmnr, again, this could easily start to break to the downside here, and we could see that $22 or $20 area. If we want to get a little bit bullish on Bmnr here, or maybe even Ethereum or Bitcoin as a whole, we need to see some very, very strong shifts to the upside in periods of consolidation. What those periods of consolidation are going to tell us are that the buyers are strong enough to hold price at those levels, again, after we do see that shift to the upside, and the sellers are either not strong enough or not aggressive enough in the short term to knock price back to the downside. That is when you can start to look for either re-entries, initial positions, or those short-term trades on something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Bmnr. The next name that I want to talk about with you guys in this video here is Nio. So we've talked about this name a lot in the past. You guys know I own 4,000 shares of this one at a $4.55 average. Really solid entry point. We've seen some strong action out of this one since that entry point that I handed out again publicly here and to the LTMP group. But again, the thesis with Nio and the deciding factor as to whether or not I'm going to keep holding this position here has not changed. They need to be able to hit those profitability metrics and those goals that they have outlined to shareholders over the last couple of years and stop overpromising and under-delivering here. If they are able to meet those goals, again, obviously we could see a significant re-rating higher. $10, $15, $20 would be absolutely awesome to see. But if not, this will be one that I cut, move on from, and hopefully end up with some profits here. But again, that is why we got such a solid entry on this one. So we were able to have some very solid buffer room here. And again, as you guys all know, Nio was on this weekly breakout here, one of the 35 plus 10x or 1,000% plus trades that I did give out to the LTMP group over the last couple of months here. And again, some of the statements here from the CEO of Nio over the last few days: no plan B for Q4 profitability is kind of make or break for Nio, and we are going to be able to get a lot better insight into these goals kind of in the beginning of 2026 here. And that is when we are going to be able to make our decision. And in the short term here, the stock can go up, the stock can go down, but it's not going to change anything for me at the end of the day. Now, the next individual name that I want to talk about with you guys in this video here too is Webull. Now, this is one that we have not covered on this channel so far in an actual video, but it is one that we have been talking about a lot in the LTMP community, on Twitter, and in the live streams that I do for you guys every single day. Now, again, this one, as of right now, just based on the chart, for me personally, this is not good enough yet for a full-size entry. Again, I picked up 2,000 shares today, right around this $9.20 area here. So again, starter position here with a kind of chart that is signifying to us that it is really only set up for a starter position. But here's why, and here's what you need to be paying attention to on this chart here. We have seen a very significant decline in Webull over the last couple of months here, and after they reported, quite honestly, pretty blockbuster earnings here. We saw earnings per share up 275% year over year, revenue up 55% year over year, EPS up 40% quarter over quarter, revenue up 19% quarter over quarter. A lot of really strong growth in this name, but we also have to realize is that with a company like Webull, when they enter the public markets for the first time, you are obviously going to see significant levels of volatility, and you have to give the market time to balance out and, quite honestly, calm down and let that volatility subside as the market kind of figures out what they want to value this company at in the short term. For me personally, I think this is a decent spot right now to start maybe dipping your toe into Webull if that is something that you already wanted to do. Again, nothing I say in these videos is financial advice. You guys can do whatever you want with your money. All I'm here to do is give you guys more information about the things that you are already interested in so you can go out and make better, more well-informed decisions. I own this name. I think it has a lot of potential here. We will see what happens. Now, the last name that I want to give an update to you guys on, again, is one that has been a retail favorite over the last few years here. It's one that I gave out to you guys at $15 a share before it more than 10x, and that is Palantir here. So I think at this point, everybody has a good understanding that Palantir is doing everything that they need to be doing to grow their government contracting business and their commercial revenue side as well. Now, obviously, the market has given this a very, very aggressive valuation here in the present. I still think this stock is relatively overvalued here. And again, if you are in at those lower levels when I was outlining this one for you guys at that $15 area, again, this is, for me, in my opinion, not one that you want to long, not one that you want to short. Kind of stay neutral on this one for now. If you do have significant gains in this one, again, there are a lot of strategies out there that you can use in order to generate some profits and take some money off the table here, whether you want to use callers, covered calls, go out and directly sell some of your position, whatever makes the most sense for you is what you should be doing. Now, what I will say, thinking from a trading perspective here, if we are able to see Palantir more clearly shift above this daily 10 exponential moving average here and form a nice period of consolidation, again, like what we were talking about previously in this video, we could easily see a very solid short-term bullish setup on Palantir that could get us back up to that 190 to 195 area that could provide us with a really awesome short-term trading setup here. Now, for those of you guys that are new to the channel, when we start talking about these names and some of these potential trades, again, from a trading perspective, you're gonna see a common theme. When stocks are about to make absolutely massive and explosive moves, the vast majority of the time, they all look the exact same, which is why you guys are able to see such absolutely insane results that I showcase to you guys all the time from the members of the LTMP community. But guys, that is gonna wrap up this video here. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you are. Turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. If you have a comment, any feedback on what we talked about in this video here, make sure you leave it down below in the comment section. But until next time, guys, I will see you. Peace.